From mass executive orders to foreign aid freezes, Donald Trump's return to the White House has been nothing short of eventful.
Donald J. Trump!
But are his actions setting America on a stronger path, or are they creating waves of controversy?
The President of the United States calling the democratically elected leader of an ally under attack a dictator.
In this video, we'll break down the biggest moves of Trump's 2025 presidency so far, what's working, what's not, and what it all means for the future. Let's dive in. A flurry of executive orders. As soon as he was sworn in, Trump wasted no time signing a staggering 74 executive orders in his first month alone, far surpassing his predecessors. Many of these orders reversed policies from previous administrations, focusing on key issues such as immigration, energy, and government regulations. One of the most widely discussed moves was the elimination of federal diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs, which the administration argued placed ideology over merit. While supporters of the decision believe this will bring back a focus on qualifications and efficiency, critics argue that it could undo years of progress in workplace diversity and inclusion. Another major executive order targeted free speech, aiming to prevent federal agencies from interfering with social media content. This move was hailed by many as a victory against censorship, while others warned that it could open the floodgates for misinformation and harmful content to spread unchecked. Foreign policy decisions and their impact. Beyond domestic policies, Trump's foreign policy decisions have also sparked intense debate. One of his most controversial moves so far has been the decision to freeze U.S. foreign aid, a step that had immediate global repercussions. The freeze impacted numerous international programs, including a United Nations initiative in Mexico that aimed to combat the trafficking of fentanyl precursors. While Trump and his supporters see this as a necessary step to prevent what they call reckless spending on foreign interests, critics argue that it weakens diplomatic ties and undermines efforts to combat global crises. Meanwhile, his approach to the war in Ukraine has raised eyebrows worldwide. In a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron, Trump suggested a potential peace deal involving European peacekeepers and hinted at the possibility of the U.S. negotiating access to Ukraine's rare mineral resources. While some believe this approach could de-escalate the war and prioritize diplomacy over prolonged conflict, others fear that such negotiations could grant too much leverage to Vladimir Putin and undermine Ukraine's sovereignty. Economic shakeups and corporate reactions. On the economic front, Trump's policies have already begun to reshape corporate decision-making in the United States. With his administration preparing to impose tariffs on Chinese imports, companies are scrambling to adjust. In a massive response to these impending trade restrictions, Apple announced a $500 billion investment in the U.S. economy, pledging to create 20,000 new jobs and build a major manufacturing facility in Houston. While this is seen as a major win for American industry and job creation, critics argue that the move is more about avoiding tariffs than a genuine commitment to domestic expansion. Additionally, some warn that these tariffs will ultimately lead to higher prices for consumers. Meanwhile, Trump's restructuring of the federal workforce has drawn both praise and concern. Under a newly implemented government efficiency initiative, thousands of federal employees have been laid off, with the administration claiming this will reduce bureaucratic waste. However, opponents argue that these cuts may leave crucial agencies understaffed, potentially affecting essential government services. A presidency of high stakes. So, what does all of this mean? Trump's 2025 presidency is shaping up to be as bold and polarizing as ever. His supporters see him as a decisive leader, taking swift action to cut bureaucracy, protect free speech, and put America first. His critics, on the other hand, warn that his policies could create instability, weaken global alliances, and roll back social progress. But what do you think? Are Trump's actions strengthening America, or are they setting the country on a more controversial path? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get the discussion going. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into today's biggest stories. See you in the next one.